is for only $15.99. Tuesday, a large stromboli and large pitcher of soda, just $11.99. Wednesday, a large cheese pizza and large pitcher of soda, just $11.49. Vito's open till midnight, Monday through Thursday till 1 a.m., Fridays and Saturdays. Dine in at 1734 South Queen Street, York, or get carry-out. Call 843-1143.
Has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about saving, simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to the herd.
Welcome back. Very, very encouraged this morning. I was very encouraged this morning. I don't talk a lot of politics on the show, but I was very encouraged that Marco Rubio has been able to leap up to number 2 among the GOP candidates. An electable candidate. Ted Cruz is not electable. Donald Trump is popular, but not electable as a president. And I think we are better when we have more centrist candidates. And I think Hillary is more centrist than Bernie Sanders. And Marco Rubio is certainly more centrist than Ted Cruz. A lot of Donald Trump, and I think Donald Trump is wildly popular and wildly entertaining, and is a very smart businessman and a very smart branding machine. And we can learn a lot from Donald Trump. An electable candidate. Ted Cruz is not electable. Donald Trump is popular, but not electable as a president. And I think we are better when we have more centrist candidates. And I think Hillary and Marco Rubio is certainly more so wound up. He's got them just frothing at the mouth. So the GOP wants to swing the pendulum all the other way and get these arch-right candidates who will get destroyed in the presidential election. Whereas Rubio may not be able to beat Hillary in the first time they meet, but she may be taking over an economy that's about to go into a recession. 4 years later, he may be a 2-term president. I know that's politics and we're doing a sports show, but I like when I see both parties more moderate and centrist. I think it's good for the country. There's people off the rails left, people off the rails right. I don't think America's better served than, as I said yesterday, and was proven by one of our first guests on the show, the investor, Monday, Jason Calacanis, one of the first Uber executives, Uber investors. He said, America's never been safer. Poverty's never been globally lower. The nation's violent crime is going down. Don't believe all the media buzz and the hype and the narratives. This is a great place to live in America. Our problems are minimal compared to other countries. And centrist, smart, electable candidates who speak for the majority of people are what we should have running for president. And either way, I'm okay. Rubio, Hillary, either way, I'm okay. Can't say that about the rest of the candidates. Not a soapbox. I just spent 3 minutes talking about politics. Are you okay with that?
I'm totally fine with that. I think you have great takes on politics, actually.
Yeah, so it's 3 minutes.
Like when you spice it into this.
Hey, stick to sports. Hey, why don't you stick to not tell me how to do a radio show?
We talk about life.
It's called
Sports is part of life.
It's called the herd.
Yeah, it's what you want.
Yeah. So I was looking this morning, Christine. Is it fair to say, this is how I think, I don't know how you think, but you're hoping for a good game.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want the Panthers to win, so however that happens, it's fine with me.
Okay. Here's what's amazing. We're getting really good Super Bowls. If you take out the Seahawks-Bronco game 43-8, 7 of our last 8 Super Bowls, I think, classify as really good. Even the Saints-Colts, until that interception, massive drama. It says 31-17. It didn't feel like 31-17. In fact, if I go back to the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl, 24-21, followed by the worst officiated Super Bowl in league history, Steelers beat the Seahawks 21-10, it was egregiously officiated. We've only had one stinker. I would say we've had one stinker, Seattle clobber Denver, and another game that was kind of boring, the Colts over the Bears. There was some late game drama, but that wasn't a great Super Bowl. But 7 of our last 8, Giants beat the Patriots 17-14. I was there. Unbelievable. One of the top 5 ever. Steelers beat the Cardinals 27-23. Even more action. That's one of the top 5. Saints over the Colts. Don't buy the score. Really a good football game. Packers beat the Steelers. Outstanding. Giants beat the Patriots again. Outstanding. Ravens San Francisco 49ers was weird because of the blackout, but fantastic. And then Patriots Seahawks last year, in my opinion, is the best Super Bowl I've ever watched. Certainly the best last hour of a Super Bowl I've ever watched. In fact, I could make an argument the last 10 minutes of the Patriots-Seahawks is the best football game I've ever watched. I've always said the best college football game I've ever watched was USC-Texas Rose Bowl national title. It had everything. Reggie Bush's goofy lateral, came down to the final seconds, mistakes by USC, controversial goal for it, fourth down. They give it to the wrong guy. They don't get it. I mean, that game was just drama. You were stressed. Next morning you woke up, your shoulders were sore. You were stressed. The last 10 to 15 minutes, people forget because the Malcolm Butler interception. People forget the play down the sideline that Russell Wilson made. Seattle was out of it. And then there was that miraculous, was it Curse down the sidelines that made that catch, like laying on the ground? People forget that play. It's one of the greatest plays. It's the David Tyree of that game. People could totally forget about it. Like the last 5-10 minutes of that game were like highlight reel, all-timer, highlight reel. Oh, go watch it. If you can ever find that on replay, go watch it. All right, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Dan Marino, Marcus Allen, all around the corner. Look how fast time flies when you're having fun talking football. It's the herd. Breakthrough ideas can come from anywhere, especially when really smart people from totally different industries start mixing things up. And that's exactly what Callaway has done with the all-new XR driver. Callaway Golf engineers work with the world's leading aerodynamic engineers at Boeing to re-engineer the size, shape, and exact placement of the speed step on the XR driver. What does that mean? It means the next level aerodynamics on the new XR driver make it extremely fast, which is amazing because the new XR is also extremely forgiving. Fast and forgiving don't typically go together, but this is not your typical driver. The new XR has a larger, more forgiving head and a lighter, thinner, faster face. And when you combine a more efficient design with Boeing aerodynamics, well, forgiveness meets fast. Go to CallawayGolf.com/XR 2016 to learn more about what makes XR unlike any other driver. The new XR driver, Callaway made it forgiving, Boeing made forgiving fast.
How you doing, caller? Starving. I'm on a new diet. All I can see is food I can't have. Have you considered AT&T for my Go phone with unlimited talk, text, and data usage with the first 2 gigabytes at high speed? Gigs you can bite? No, but LTE network that's worth feasting on. Ooh, 4G BLT. 4G LTE. Plus, it's just $40 a month after a $5 auto refill discount. Is a low usage with the first 2 gigs. And none of the calories. What are you eating?
Nothing.
AT&T, mobilizing your world. Unlimited talk, text, and data with the first 2 gigabytes at high speed on a 4G LTE network. AT&T Go Phone. $40 a month after a $5 auto refill discount. In stores or at att.com/GoPhone. Oh, I'm so full. Have you been eating this whole time?
Second first month, $45. In South George Street in York, across from the Apple Hill Health Campus. Visit wellspan.org/urgent orthopedics today.
It's gonna be another epic year of high school hoops, and Sports Radio 1350 is ready for tip-off. Tune in every week for the high school basketball game of the week, presented by Wellspan Sports Medicine. Plus, go to WOYK1350.com for a full breakdown of the teams and the players of the York Adams League. The high school basketball game of the week, presented Shrewsbury and Logan. distinguished. Tans, blush, and earth tones make the mood. Or dramatic. Plums and indigos are your... Get it? Try some oranges, yellows, and reds. No matter what mood you're trying to create, our paint professionals can help you find just the right combination.
And stuff.
You're starting college in 2 weeks, and I'm doing some homework. To find a college loan to pay the rest of your
I'm Deb Carson. Today's the last day of obligatory media appearances for players as they get set for final Super Bowl 50 preparations. Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning was asked if he was tired of answering questions about his potential retirement.
It's not a problem. It's
Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios, this is York's local sports show. Talking local sports on York's local sports station. Welcome to Game Day with GameTime PA on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Game Day of GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350, another Thursday afternoon, bringing you all your high school action. I'm Brandon Stoneberg alongside Teddy Feinberg. Matt Allabone from our Hanover office is here today joining us. We're going to talk some hoops later on. The York Adams playoffs are about to get started tomorrow night for boys and girls basketball. We're very excited about that. The knock on the playoffs in the league is that they don't mean anything for districts, but they're always fun to watch, see some cross-divisional matchups that we wouldn't otherwise see most likely. So those are always fun. We'll talk about that. We have a York Adams football player making the NFL now. We had a kind of a sad but heartwarming story at the same time come out of West York with the Folk clan community rallying around a family who lost one of their own. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll even touch on some wrestling. We got district wrestling going on. Spring Grove in districts. I think Bermudian.
Yeah.
Bermudian
They're doing really
Springs
well.
in districts. We'll talk about that later in the show as well. Teddy, how you doing today, though?
I am thrilled to be here. And yeah, I don't care, like, their whole talk about the games, and that's true. The games really don't matter, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's almost like an exhibition tournament at a really weird time because it's right before the biggest part of the season.
I'm fine with it.
But I love it.
These teams want to know who's the best in the area.
No,
They
I
wanna
would agree
prove
with that. It's a good chance for you to see where you stack up a little bit.
You still get to put a banner on your wall if you come away with a win.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, a lot of these teams aren't going to win state titles, but they care about that York.
I mean,
Adams.
logically speaking, it's completely pointless. But honestly, that means nothing to me. I'm thrilled.
I would feel bad for a team if they lost somebody to injury during this tournament.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And I guess, there's always that thing, how much do you really put into it if it doesn't mean anything? Because obviously, you bring up a great point. Injury, how much do you really put in from a game plan standpoint, all those things. But I love basketball. I could care less.
I do. The matchups we have are very, very intriguing. We're going to break those down later. We have Matt here to talk about some of the Hanover teams involved as well. I heard some fans. I talked to some fans a few weeks ago, and they said, "Why not put it over Christmas break? Why not wipe out those irrelevant Christmas tournaments and throw this tournament in at that point, so you're not risking injury before the districts? Or why not put it at the beginning of the season instead of a tip-off tournament? You have this as a tournament to kind of almost like how college does, or like the preseason NIT type stuff."
Well, Matt,
I mean, the point of, I guess, having at this point is that who the top 8 teams in the area are. It's a legitimate, even though you say it doesn't matter, it is a legitimate playoffs of who the best team in York and Adams are. So it does mean something in proving the best team in the area.
I completely agree. If you did a preseason one, would the William Penn girls have gotten in?
No.
Okay.
Well, neither were the Susky girls.
Case closed.
Right.
So there, I don't agree with. I could see, mid-season, sure, but there is something that's kind of fun about saying to yourself, hey, this team, got this to this point in the regular season. One thing that I found interesting was the William Penn girls got in and the New Oxford girls did not.
Right.
And I thought both those teams actually really deserved to get in. So there's always going to be bubble teams. If you put it mid-season or even preseason that should get in that didn't. But I'm whatever. I'm fine with it being now. I don't care.
And I was with the New Oxford's coach James Kunkel when they got the news that they didn't make it, the girls team, and you can see the disappointment on his face. So you can tell that these coaches and teams, they do care about this.
Yeah. And I don't think having extra games before districts hurts. I mean, it can't, right? I mean,
like we said, barring injury, it can't hurt. Like, this is another tune-up against really good competition.
Exactly.
So it's getting you ready.
Right.
So as long as you come out healthy, I think it's a good thing.
Well, let me ask you this. A team that doesn't make the YAIAA tournament, what are they doing?
Well, a team like Gettysburg, they're going to make districts, but they're not in the YA tournament.
So they're practicing.
Okay, I wouldn't want that. I actually would rather play in. I would get completely
stay sharp.
rusty. Absolutely, I would not like that at all. So
yeah, we'll see that for a few of our team. I think the Red Line Boys are kind of on the bubble. They're not in the York tournament, but they're in the district tournament. A few other teams like Dover and teams like that.
Will the New Ox girls get in district?
Oh yeah, they're in.
Okay, well they're a good example. Like they're a good team. I'd rather play games than sit at home.
Right. We'll talk about William Penn making it in for the first time in more than a decade. I think it was like 14, 15 years is the first time they've been in the tournament, which is pretty cool. They'll get Susquehannock in the first round. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll have a boys basketball segment followed by a girls basketball segment. Right now, though, Teddy, Matt, you guys have any game balls to give out?
Matt?
Well, I don't think there's a game balls in wrestling, but I'll give a shout out to a wrestler.
Yeah, no, they get shoes.
Singlet.
Yeah.
Austin Clayball, Bermudian Springs, junior, 126 pounder. I saw him on Saturday. Had a win against Jalen Hankerson of Boiling Springs, who was a semifinalist in the state last year. Yesterday, he had 2 pins in the districts and actually pinned Hankerson again, even though Bermudian as a team lost to Boiling both times. So, really big year. He's primed for a big run at states.
Hankerson dominated. I remember seeing them against Bermudian last year. Hankerson just wiped out anybody Bermudian sent out him, so that's pretty cool for Bermudian. Teddy, what do you got?
I have more than like 1 or 2.
Please, take your time.
All right. On the boys' side, I'm going to go 1 swimming. I'm going Aiden Fryer at York Suburban. He won 2 individual events and swam on 2. Sorry, Brandon, not Brandon's glasses. 2 individual events and swam on 2 winning relay teams. In their win over Dover last week. He also took the 50 and 100 free individual events and capped the meet with victories in the 200 medley and 200 free relays. So big ups to him. Big performance in the pool from Fryer. Josh Bailey, I'm also going to give it to him. He dropped 24 points last week.
He's getting hot at the right time. We've talked about how he struggled all year, like kind of underperformed. He went from 15 points a game to 9 this year, but he's coming on strong.
Yeah, well, it was the basketball cover jinx. I mean, we put him on the cover with not everyone was affected by the cover.
Not everyone, because Bayhoff dropped 40. She's had a great year. We put her on. Brooks is dominated.
He was right out in front, though, of that cover, wasn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it didn't affect everyone. I hope Bailey comes on now And it's interesting because he's coming on and they're coming on. So
and I think he's got to be a big part of that because he's kind of underperforming. They've had McCauley and then no one else to help it most of the year. Now Bailey's stepping up like we thought he would. They're going to be a tough out. We're going to talk more about it later. But with the experience they have, the talent they have, the coaching they have, West York's going to be a tough out.
They've struggled this year. He struggled this year. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's playing better and they're playing better. They obviously need him. Right?
They're a team, and William Penn's a team, and I wouldn't want to see them in the tournament just because how experienced and talented they are. They can get hot when they're better than the records show.
Never, yeah. And if he's hitting his stride now, he's the best player on the team. They need him. They were counting on him coming to the year. I'm also going to give a shout out to Kate Bayhoff on York Catholic because she dropped 40 points last week coming off pneumonia. I found that to be absolutely unbelievable. So good for her. She's had a great year.
I'll give out a couple. Kyle Kraus scored 30-plus a few nights in a row to get to 1,000 points in his career for Hanover. Darren Gordon hit 1,000 points from Spring Grove. Another great guy. Montrell Morgan broke William Penn's scoring record. He passed his cousin, Kelvin Parker, who was an outstanding player at William Penn. He was there right after I left the area. But those guys all hit their marks. I think Noah Ayers, we might have given one him last week, but he hit 1,000 points. We had a whole bunch of milestones. Also want to give everyone who signed yesterday a game ball. Andrew Lawson from Spring Grove, Old Dominion, Skylar Bowman, Maine, Noah Staub, Towson. Football player, the PSAC just rocked this area. I mean, Lock Haven has 5 or 6 guys from the area. Fernando Flores, David Anke from Northeastern, Ian Slavin, Adam Ware, tons of guys signed. Soccer as well. Kennedy Little from Central went to Elon. That's a big one. Robert Morris got Marcos Garcia. Temple hit up 3 guys in the area. They got Sarver from West York and the 2 kids from Dallastown.
That was my biggest takeaway from signing day. The soccer explosion.
Soccer exploded, and we didn't really see it. We joked about yesterday, 2 days ago, the kids who signed D1. We didn't even have them on our All-Star team.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw Garcia signed.
Yeah. But they all have a great future ahead of them. We're proud of those guys for everything they do. And the PSAC is great. Some football guys going to the CAA. That's a great FCS conference. So we wish them all the best.
No doubt.
We got a tweet from Andy talking about our playoff thing. He says the only way a tip-off tournament would work is if you took the previous year's semifinalist, or you could take an aggregate standing over 2-3 years and have a top 4 tip-off tournament. Is his idea.
Well, no,
intriguing.
I look, honestly,
thanks, Andy.
Yeah, no. First of all, thank you for writing in, Andy. That was great. But I completely agree with those points, and I think that's what you see. Certain leagues do. Obviously, college does that, but again, that would completely then take away a William Penn possibility.
And it takes away the reward at the end of the season. Like you said, New Oxford was excited to try and get there. William Penn was excited to get to this point. So I like it at the end of the season. I'm a big fan of it. I was just trying to stir the pot and see what you guys thought.
And in Andy's defense, I think Andy's just saying this is the only way you could do a tip-off tournament.
This is the only way it could happen.
He's just brainstorming.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Anything else, guys? Athletes of the week?
Oh, right. On the boys' side, obviously you can vote for this every single week. I do this spiel every single week. You can vote for this every single week. Polls go up at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. They are up until 5 p.m. Monday night. So you can go on. You can vote for your athlete of the week. And both of these polls, we had over 1,000 votes this week. We had 1,100 plus on the boys' side. Isaiah Fannin, Bermudian Springs Wrestling, he took home the gold in this particular poll. Fannin provided the highlight of the night in Bermudian's 36-21 win over Biglerville on Thursday. His 7-6 upset victory over Colton Sense gave Berm a 26-21 win and helped them clinch the team's 7th straight District Division III title. So that's obviously highly impressive. On the girls' side, lo and behold, it was Bayhoff. It didn't take a lot. The pneumonia thing pushed her over the top. She dropped 40 in a historic performance. She canned 4 3-pointers. She hit 14 free throws. Hit your free throws. If you hit your free throws, you're going to score points.
One of my favorite moments in the basketball season. Remember we were doing the preseason shoot and her mom was teasing her about her birthday? And she got so embarrassed. That was hilarious.
That was classic.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, Brandon also was knocking down jumpers with Eli and Bailey on the court.
I was ready to go one-on-one.
You were ready to go one-on-one. I also want to say this, but just off of Bayhoff's performance, so they beat DeLone 64-50, right? So that was a big deal for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was held to 5 points in the matchup before.
She went for 40
and
this time.
she answered with 40. So she had the chip on her.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She's got another chip. She should have another chip on her shoulder this week. They, because of a coin flip, they get Central York as opposed to York Suburban because them and DeLone tied for the lead. Coin flip decides who gets what to match up. So York Catholic gets Central. Central beat them by 18 last time. I was there. They forced 23 turnovers, and a lot of that was Emma Saxton guarding Bayhoff. So Bayhoff has to deal with Laughlin last week. She got to deal with Saxton this week.
Well, you know what? You got to find your chip and your motivation somewhere.
Right. I mean, you're going to have to play those top teams eventually, so might as well do it.
Might as well.
Right off the bat.
Might as well do it. They got some motivation. But we'll talk more about that after the break. Anything else, Teddy?
That's it. Game day with GameTime PA.
We're going to head to the break. We'll see you after.
It's basketball playoff time in the York Adams League, and the tourney is as wide open as it's been in years. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me Friday at 5:30 as we tip off coverage with a boys doubleheader presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. In the opener, resurgent York Catholic takes on a balanced Eastern York squad. That's followed by Division I champs Central versus West York, winners of 7 of its last 10 games. It's a hoops playoff doubleheader Friday at 5:30 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
People's Bank is happy to announce that you can now find our name in an exciting new place. The home of the York Revolution is now People's Bank Park. People's Bank has been serving York County for more than 150 years, committed to making it a great place to live, work, and play. That commitment continues at People's Bank Park with Revs games, concerts, events, youth sports, and more. We're proud to partner with the York Revolution, and we look forward to seeing you at People's Bank Park. People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Since 1964, York Area Sports Night has been an honored tradition giving local sports fans, young and old, the chance to meet their sports heroes. To shake a hand, get an autograph, snap a photo, join us on Thursday, February 11th for the 52nd Annual York Area Sports Night held at Heritage Hills Golf Resort and Conference Center. Sponsored by M&T Bank, S&H Express, Shipley Energy, Apple Automotive Group, Gladfelder Insurance, EK McConkey Insurance, RBC Wealth Management, and Sports Radio 1350. Join our great local partners and a host of others with 2016 sponsorships still available. Visit YorkSportsNight.com. Guests at this year's event include Jay Paterno, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Hall of Famer Tony Perez, Hall of Fame lineman Bob Lilly, York Revolution pitcher Stephen Penny, and Penn State Nittany Lions, including Dallastown's Ben Klein. Get your tickets today. Visit the Orioles store at the York Galleria for tickets to the autograph session. For tickets to the celebrity reception and silent auction, visit YorkSportsNight.com. York Area Sports Night, a York tradition since 1964.
Sports Radio 1350 WOYK honors the Shipley Energy Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's Shipley Energy Boys Student Athlete of the Week is Donovan Catchings from Dallastown Basketball. Catchings led the way for Dallastown, scoring 19 points en route to a 59-54 win over New Oxford on Friday. He dropped 6 points in the fourth quarter, helping the Wildcats hold on. And this week's Shipley Energy Girls Student Athlete of the Week is Kate Bauhoff of York Catholic Basketball. Bauhoff turned in a historic performance against Alone Catholic on Friday night. She dropped 40 points on 4 3-pointers and 14 free throws to help York Catholic down its rival 64-50 and clinch a tie for the Division III title.
Get your home ready for fall and winter and sign up for the Shipley Energy Protection Plan. For more information, visit ShipleyEnergy.com.
Welcome to today's York College Spartans Sports Scoreboard, brought to you by OSS Health. The Spartans traveled to Dover, Delaware for a conference doubleheader against Wesley on Wednesday night. With a 3-point lead midway through the fourth, Carly McFatridge took over to give the Spartans a cushion. Bounced it left, another three, got it! Carly McFatridge, back-to-back threes, timeout Wesley! Sam Roos led with 21 points, 13 boards, and 5 steals as the Spartans improved to 16-4 with a 72-62 win. Morgan Keeney and Sarah Shearer each added 12. Julianne Lambert dished out 6 assists. Playing catch-up all night, the men fell 69-60, despite 21 from Matt Scamuffo, 16 from Dalton Myers, and 10 from Chris Conway. Next up is a trip to Marymount on Saturday afternoon. We're on air beginning at 1:45 on Sports Radio 1350. The wrestling team is back in action Friday night at 7, hosting number 4 Messiah at the Grumbacher Center. That's your Spartan Sports Scoreboard, brought to you by OSS Health. Orthopedic experience you can trust. Visit online at OSSHealth.com.
At Northwestern Mutual, we take a disciplined and balanced approach to financial planning. Together, we'll help build your financial future on time-tested principles, not market trends, so you can take advantage of life's opportunities. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on a square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Red Lion Boys basketball coach Steve Schmale. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Welcome back to Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350. Love the Hotline Bling intro. Thanks to Ray. Thank you for the Drake. Huge Drake fan. We're talking boys basketball in this segment. We're going to start off with some milestones. As we mentioned before, Montrell Morgan, a senior at William Penn, spent 2 years at York High, spent 2 years, actually like a year at Impact, a year at New Hope. He had a weird journey, but his career points now are 1460, 1470, his career points. So he passed Kelvin Parker. So his name will be up there on the banner, York High, which is big. Kyle Kraut, we mentioned, he hit 1,000. He had to score.
He came into the week needing, I think, 68, and he dropped 40 against Christian Lidditz, and then 20. No, he scored 30. He needed 28 against Fairfield, and he got 30.
He's been a big time.
70 points in 2 nights.
He's been a big guy, a big senior. He was one of those players that Coach Myers always bragged about when I was down there. So I figured Coach Myers might try and push a little bit. He wouldn't mind Kyle shooting for 40.
I want to say this too. You know what? Krieger scored big for them last year, and they lost him, and there was questions about replacing him. And
and they replaced Rhodes and Balserman, who were 2 really stud players as well.
I mean, you would know better than anyone else because you covered that team. And honestly, Kraut had a great year at quarterback and a great year.
He does so much too besides score too. He passes. He's a great defender. A great
I'm sure
leader.
his leadership.
Yeah.
I was going to say his leadership skills are probably on target.
A very well-spoken young man. Pretty solid baseball player from what I've heard too. I think Zach handled baseball more last year. But
I can't wait to do his. I want what position? He's got to be shortstop.
I would think short or third with an arm.
I was thinking
short third pitcher.
Yeah.
Or catcher.
Trey Shiflett, another York High guard, he hit 1,000 points and he lost to Central. That was a pretty cool ceremony. I was there for that one. Another one of the coach's favorites. He's just everything he's done is sacrificed for that team. Just gone about it very quietly. A very, very quiet, well-spoken kid as well. And Coach Sowers is very happy to see him get 1,000. We got to be able to take some video, and they got a good photo of him hugging his family in the stand. So he was very happy about that. Noah Ayers, as we mentioned, hit 1,000 for Biglerville. Still another year left too, right?
Yeah, he's only a junior. That's crazy.
Only a junior. Darren Gordon, I believe, on a senior night hit 1,000.
I think it was the night before.
Before senior night hit 1,000.
But the crazy thing about that, not to give myself a shameless plug here, I wrote that feature on him.
Please, go ahead.
The
show's for.
I wrote a feature on him, and James Brooks, their head coach, referred to him as the Robin to Eli Brooks' Batman.
Yeah,
so I made that the headline and like the lead of the story. Well, he scores 1,000 points, and they bring the 2 out matching Batman and Robin T-shirts with Mr. 1000 on the back.
That's cool.
Which is crazy.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. So now we get to talk about our York Adams basketball playoffs for the boys' side. The 8 teams who made it. York High made it as that kind of wild card, 3rd Division I team. Northeastern lost only 1 game this year to York High. That's who they'll get in the first round. Spring Grove, Hanover. Spring Grove got in as the 2 seed from Division I. Hanover got the 2 seed from Division III. Central West York. West York's kind of that wild card. They got the 8th and final spot. Central gets the number 1 spot. And then York Catholic Eastern, also a very intriguing matchup. We're going to start, Matt, we're going to let you get started here. Spring Grove, Hanover, pretty intriguing Kyle Kraut versus Eli Brooks matchup. What are you thinking about this one?
I mean, that matchup will be fun to watch. They're both going to get their points. Spring Grove is obviously the favorite in this one of the best teams in this area. And for me, it comes down to how is Hanover going to guard Darren Gordon? Because they can put Kraut on Eli Brooks or even Will McQueen. I don't know what they're going to do. Those guys can defend. And you're not going to shut down Brooks, but maybe slow him down. He shoots a lot of threes. But Darren Gordon is 6'3". He can rebound a little bit. He's tall, athletic. And Hanover doesn't really have a guy like that. They've their forwards are Bryce Hart and Brent Hill. Like 6'6" kids, just stocky, sturdy kids who play hard. They don't have the athleticism Gordon has. He can bring them away from the basket. I don't really know how they're going to, if they go man-to-man defense, how they're going to match up on him. So that's going to be a big issue right there.
Yeah, I think it's a big matchup issue for Hanover. Like Krieger would have been great for Gordon last year because they played a similar type game, but he's gone. So who do you have go against Gordon? And if you don't want to do that and you want to go zone, Spring Grove can shoot you.
They can shoot the 3, so that's going to be an issue right there. If Hanover's going to pull off an upset, they're going to need to shoot the 3 really well. Kraut will hit some threes. Hunter Martz and Will McQueen can shoot too, but they're going to need those 2 to really get hot.
Well, and who is Hanover playing in D3?
I mean, their biggest games this year were against York Catholic.
And they lost to them.
Yeah, and I think York Catholic's had a great year, but Spring Grove's been great.
And Spring Grove was a quad A school. I mean,
Exactly.
Look at it this way: Spring Grove has beat William Penn twice, who beat York Catholic, who beat Hanover twice.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I got.
So by the transitive property, Matt's saying that Spring Grove's got this one.
You gotta be careful with the transitive property, but in this case, I think it kind of means something.
I mean, if we're gonna make calls and we're gonna call spade a spade, I got Spring Grove.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah,
I think we're all picking Spring Grove in this one. I think this was actually, I thought, the easiest one to pick. No disrespect to Hanover.
I completely agree with that. Yeah.
I just think Spring Grove has 2 losses this year, and both were to Central. And both by 3
pretty
points.
close games.
And I thought the other ones were tricky. We'll keep going because I gotta go.
We'll keep going. I picked Hanover over last year to upset West York, and it cost them flack for it. And Hanover ended up losing to West York by 40 in the first round.
Right. Yeah, I think we buried the lead on that one.
Yeah, that was on me. Ackerman thanked me afterward for providing bulletin board material. So hey,
he wouldn't be the first coach that's done that.
No, Sowers thanked me this year. I think Sheeler thanked me this year. So whatever helps, I'm here to help, I guess. Speaking of Sheeler, Central York and Ackerman actually. Central York gets West York. This is one. It's not tricky. I'm going Central here. I think somehow Central is still underrated. They're number one in the district, and people are still like, but Central doesn't have
West
this.
York is playing well, but until no one's really proven besides Northeastern they can knock off Central. So you got to go Central in this matchup.
Right. I'm going Central as well. And people, like I said, have kind of doubted Central. They're like, yeah, they're having a great year, but they don't have this. They don't have that. Let's focus on what they do have. They have one of the best players in the league in Jared Wagner. They have an outstanding cast after him. Courtney Batts has stepped up great. Ontario Edmonds has had a great year. Nate Markey's had his moments where he's had a great year. They've got contributions out of Landon Ray, who's a sophomore. They've had big numbers from a bunch of guys, and they're well coached. Kevin Sheeler's done a great job there, and he's turned Central into what it should be. I was there 6-7 years ago in a very forgettable era in Central basketball. There's no reason a quad A school with that much talent should go 9-13, but that's what Central was doing. He's turned it into a program that's consistently one of the top in the area. So it's very exciting for them. I think that West York's not a team that's going to roll over easy. They're playing really well right now. They're also very well coached. They have a great cast as well. They're very experienced. I think that'll be a tough one. They were supposed to meet actually, and then the winter storm messed it up. They were supposed to play a few weeks ago. I think it could be close, but I'm going with Central here. And this game was played at Redline, I believe.
I'm going back and forth here. I think, though, when the dust settles, I'm going Central York. They've just been far more consistent than West York this season. Although West York has been playing really well lately. They really gave Northeastern a run for their money. A part of me, honestly, really wants to take West York, but I'm going to go consistency here, and I'm going to go Central York because they have brought it night in and night out this season, and I know for a fact I've underestimated them all year, and they've proved.
You just got to hope Central York is a team that does have high district aspirations, doesn't think past the York tournament.
I've been highly impressed by their coaching this year. I think they're going to be ready to roll. I'm going to take them. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, they've been very well composed. I've seen them several times. I've seen them fall behind. They fell behind in double digits at York High in a rough atmosphere and came back and won that game with composure.
Exactly.
They played 2 really close games at Spring Grove and came out on top of
They
both
beat
of them.
Northeastern, haven't they?
They lost Northeastern. That was one of their losses.
Okay.
But they beat Hemfield. They beat Cedar Cliff. They beat Cedar Crest. They went out of the area and beat some top division District 3 teams as well. They've been just very composed and very great leadership, great coaching on that one.
It's going to be a good game.
It's
going to be a really good game.
This the only issue I'm worried about with Central is Darian McCauley for West York, because he's more of a back to the basket, post up power, pound you power forward, and Division I doesn't have many of those.
Right.
I mean, they have Chris Johnson and Wayne Penn, but he's more of a wing power forward, so that could provide maybe a matchup issue. I'm sure Jerry Wagner.
He'll get his points, but Central
points.
York has a lot of guys who are going to get their points too.
Right. So we're going with Central in that one. Next up, York Catholic versus Eastern. This is a very intriguing one.
That's a tough one.
Eastern's had a great year. They've been on fire. I wrote the preview yesterday. I think they've won 14 out of their last 15, and their one loss was a 1-point loss to Northeastern, I believe it was. So they've been on fire lately. They started off 3-3, and then won 15 of their last 16. So they've been on fire. They have a great inside-outside combo. Brogan Nicholas, one of the top scoring guards in the league, and Jared Achterberg, a great kind of combo forward guy. Jared Woods, a guard. He's stepped up big as a kind of a third guy. Springer's had his moment. So they've got a good cast there. York Catholic, Malik Martin will probably guard Achterberg. That'll be a good matchup. And then either Forgen or Davis will guard Nicholas, and the other one will take Woods. So very good 3-on-3 type matchup there. Matt, you've seen York Catholic a few times.
York Catholic is a confident bunch. I know they're Division III. They're not going to back away from Eastern York, so I think it'll be a game. But Eastern York they've been on fire lately. That really close loss to Northeastern proved a lot about how good they are and how they've been playing recently. So
and they beat West York twice too.
I'd give them the slight edge, but I think it'll be a good game.
Brandon, who'd you take?
I'm going with Eastern this one. The knock on York Catholic we wrote yesterday is the fact that sure, they racked up 16 wins. They had a great turnaround year, great year with the first-year head coach. But their biggest win on the resume is Hanover.
Right.
I mean, they played the schedule in front of them, but when they did have a chance for a bigger win, they didn't get it.
I'm with you.
So beating Hanover twice is great. Beating DeLone and beating up on Bermudian and Littlestown and Biglerville is great in your division. But you're playing some much bigger schools now. So I'm going with Eastern. I think it'll be a close one because I think the matchup is tough. But I say Eastern pulls in.
I'm in the same boat. I'm going Eastern York. You guys alluded to everything already. They're red hot. No disrespect on Catholic. They've had a really great year, and they're not done yet at all. But I take Eastern's particular game.
Yeah, they're going to have a great shot at winning the district AA tournament as well. Those two games, Central West York, York Catholic Eastern, are at Red Lion. The other two, Spring Grove Hanover, is at West York. And then this last one, which might be the marquee matchup of the night, York High versus Northeastern, is also at West York at 7:30. This one was another tough one because York High was the only kryptonite Northeastern had all year. Northeastern lost one game all year. It was to York High. They both play a press defense, full court, up and down game. So to beat a press, York High used a press, and they actually beat Northeastern. Northeastern had a sloppy game. They would love to have that one back. Now they get a chance to.
Again, it is a tough one. I'm going York High. They know they can beat them. I think it goes without being said, what hurt Northeastern in the first game was turnovers early on.
Mm-hmm.
So they know what they have to do. They can't turn the ball over. I've been waiting for York High to get a big win.
They've been very, very close.
I've been waiting for them to get a big win all year.
Out of their 9 losses, they have 7 by single digits.
I know.
And I think Sauer said 5 or 6 of them have been a one-possession game in the last minute or two.
I know. I keep taking them to win on this show, and they never do. So I'm going to go with them again. We'll see where the chips fall, but I'm going to go with them again in this particular game.
I could easily see York High winning, but I am going to go with Northeastern this time because I want to see that rematch of them against Central York again. And maybe that's just not biased. I mean, wanting to see that rematch happen. But I'd love to see that happen.
Even a second round matchup with Northeastern Spring Grove would be
that'd be really cool too.
But even a Spring Grove York High third round would be a lot of fun too. I don't know. I think this would be the most exciting one. I think that the place will be packed. I think I'm going with Northeastern this one. I'll be covering it, so I don't want to pick too blatantly, but I think Northeastern pulls this one out.
Good call, Brandon.
But overall, those are all great games. If it goes how we picked it, Northeastern Spring Grove would be a second round matchup, and Central Eastern would be a second round would be the second round matchups. Mm-hmm. Central played Eastern earlier this year. Central blew them out. Spring Grove hasn't played Northeastern. They're two of the best teams in the area.
That would be a great game too. A really great game. Yeah. Spring Grove Northeastern.
Both ranked top 4 in the district right now in Quad A. So that would be a fun one to watch as well. Stay up to date with us tomorrow on GameTime PA. Follow us all on Twitter. We'll be all over the league, all over the county. If you can't make it out to the games yourself, and then we'll have you also all through next week too. The tournament runs through next week, and then district start, I believe, next weekend or early the week after.
We probably alluded this. Boys is tomorrow. Girls is Saturday, and we're coming back next segment to focus on the girls.
Yeah, we'll talk about the girls. Central Red Line, they played in the season finale, and then we got some York High, Susquehanna surprises. We'll talk about that after the break. We'll see you when we get back.
It's basketball playoff time in the York Adams League, and the tourney is as wide open as it's been in years. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me Friday at 5:30 as we tip off coverage with a boys doubleheader presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. In the opener, resurgent York Catholic takes on a balanced Eastern York squad. That's followed by Division I champs Central versus West York, winners of 7 of its last 10 games. It's a hoops playoff doubleheader Friday at 5:30 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Welcome to today's York College Spartan Sports Scoreboard, brought to you by OSS Health. The Spartans traveled to Dover, Delaware for a conference doubleheader against Wesley on Wednesday night. With a 3-point lead midway through the fourth, Harley McFatridge took over to give the Spartans a cushion.
Bounced it left, another 3, got it! Harley McFatridge back-to-back threes, timeout Wesley!
Sam Roos led with 21 points, 13 boards, and 5 steals as the Spartans improved to 16-4 with a 72-62 win. Morgan Keeney and Sarah Shearer each added 12. Julian Lambert dished out 6 assists. Playing catch-up all night, the men fell 69-60, despite 21 from Matt Scamuffo, 16 from Dalton Myers, and 10 from Chris Conway. Next up is a trip to Marymount on Saturday afternoon. We're on air beginning at 1:45 on Sports Radio 1350. The wrestling team is back in action Friday night at 7, hosting number 4 Messiah at the Grumbacher Center. That's your Spartan Sports Scoreboard, brought to you by OSS Health. Orthopedic experience you can trust. Visit online at osshealth.com.
Did you know that Shipley Energy can take care of all your energy needs? From heating oil and propane to providing your home with electricity and natural gas. We also provide heating and air conditioning service and installation. All of your energy needs are under one roof at Shipley Energy. To learn more, visit ShipleyEnergy.com. Call 855-4-SHIPLEY and don't forget to ask about our $100 rebate. Shipley Energy. Energy for life.
Security in life isn't something you just wish for. You build it with a strong financial plan. Start with Northwestern Mutual. Together, we'll design a disciplined and balanced approach to financial security, because reaching your goals is something we both want to work toward. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on the Square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Since 1964, York Area Sports Night has been an honored tradition giving local sports fans, young and old, the chance to meet their sports heroes. To shake a hand, get an autograph, snap a photo, join us on Thursday, February 11th for the 52nd Annual York Area Sports Night held at Heritage Hills Golf Resort and Conference Center. Sponsored by M&T Bank, S&H Express, Shipley Energy, Apple Automotive Group, Gladfelder Insurance, EK McConkey Insurance, RBC Wealth Management, and Sports Radio 1350. Join our great local partners and a host of others with 2016 sponsorships still available. Visit YorkSportsNight.com. Guests at this year's event include Jay Paterno, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Hall of Famer Tony Perez, Hall of Fame lineman Bob Lilly, York Revolution pitcher Stephen Penny, and Penn State Nittany Lions, including Dallastown's Ben Klein. Get your tickets today. Visit the Orioles store at the York Galleria for tickets to the autograph session. For tickets to the celebrity reception and silent auction, visit YorkSportsNight.com. York Area Sports Night, a York tradition since 1964.
Hi, I'm Central York boys basketball coach Kevin Sheeler. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first sports.
Welcome back to Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350. I'm Brandon Stoneberg, Matt Alabone from Hanover, Teddy Feinberg, our editor in York. Teddy, we're going to talk some girls basketball in this segment. Central upset Red Line. They kind of got that monkey off their back after that loss earlier this year.
That was big time for them.
It was a big time. It kind of got overlooked only because nothing really changed with it. It wasn't for the division title like we thought it would be because Central had a kind of a surprise loss to York High.
Right.
But it's still a big win for them.
It's always nice to get a W like that just for a confidence standpoint. Yeah. And, it's good to go into postseason play feeling good.
Big momentum, big confidence, especially if they end up meeting again in the playoffs. We're going to preview the 4 playoff games here. The teams that made it in, York High made it in. A surprise. The Bearcats, after going 7-15 last year, made it for the first time in more than a decade. Susquehannock, they went 500 last year. They made it as the division champion. They only had 2 losses all year, 20 wins. Yeah. Their only 2 losses were to Central, twice in 10 days back in December. Central made it. York Catholic made it. Red Line made it. West York got that wild card spot. They got the 8th spot on both the girls and boys side. DeLone made it. DeLone team from the Hanover Adams area, and then York Suburban comes back again. Those are the 8 teams. Teddy, any of those qualifiers stand out to you?
I felt like the girls' side of things, in terms of just a matchup standpoint, was much more cut and dry. I'm excited to see, honestly. Obviously York High being in, it's cool, and I think York High Susky is, for me, that's high intrigue, just because they kind of were. We talked about York High already, and you just touched on Susquehannock and just kind of the. I think in their own way. I'm not going to sit here and say Susquehannock was a surprise this year. We knew D2 was going to be wide open, but they had a great season that really rose to the occasion. York High was a certifiable shocker, I think, for everyone involved. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be huge if York High could beat them because they've only lost the Central this year, Susky.
Susky's got 2 losses, 20 wins, 2 losses, and the 2 losses were both Central. Yeah,
to a great team in Central too.
Yeah,
so.
My only thing with York High is it's all about peaking at the right time. Like we're talking about West York right now, and on the boys' side and how they're playing really good basketball in our minds at the right time of year. And York High barely got by Dallastown the other night.
And they got blown out by Central.
They had some great wins smack dab in the middle of the year, beating Central, beating New Oxford, battling Red Line. They were really hit. That's when we were really buzzing about them. Yeah. So I think they may have peaked very early, or mid-season, I guess you could say. So this will be a key litmus test. If they play Susky tough, I'm going to still be with them. But they got to have a good game now. That's what I think.
Right, for sure. Matt, any teams from your area, the Hanover Adams, that you thought might be here that aren't?
Well, New Oxford we talked about was so close. Honestly, it was a couple days away because they beat Southwestern on Tuesday, and they needed a Dallastown win against William Penn, and they almost got it. I think Dallastown came 5 points away. So, it's disappointing for them. That's probably the one team you kind of point to.
And they'll be right back next year. With no seniors on that team.
Yeah, and that's what Kunkel said. He said he was glad they had this experience of playing with some pressure on them because their players are all going to be back. They're going to need to be used to these pressure situations.
Yeah, they'll be one of the early favorites for next year in Division I for sure. We'll run through the matchups now. The girls' games are being played at Dover and Dallastown some Saturday night. They'll start Saturday night. First up, let's talk about the York High Susky one. Teddy, both teams, like we've mentioned several times throughout the year, kind of surprise teams. Susky, we can kind of stop calling them a surprise, I guess. They had some big wins. They swept everyone in Division II. They didn't lose a game in Division II, and there's some good teams down there.
There are some good teams down there.
They played really well against Division I teams. Like we said, their only 2 losses came to Central, and they have a pretty good squad there. Ashley Stone is a great player. She's one of, I think Christian came on the other day and called her his MVP of the year. Jayla Galbraith has had a great year at guard. They got Maddie Stone on the team too. So, I mean, they've kind of flown on their radar somehow at 20-2, but they're right here now.
I got to go Susky. William Penn. And hey, look, William Penn, I mean, we think they're a district team, right?
They're going to be a district team.
Yeah. Okay. So this isn't it for them. I already stated my case two minutes ago. I think that they played really well mid-season. I think they're trying to find their footing again. Susky's been very consistent throughout the year. And, yeah, I like Susquehannock in this game for sure. I want to see a very close, competitive game for sure. And if Susky wins big, it's going to be concerning for me, for William Penn.
I'd agree Susquehannock's going to take this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a great year for York High. I think this is where their York Adams run ends. I think a great matchup to watch, and that one's going to be a ton of fun. China Steele versus Ashley Stone.
Oh, no doubt.
2 of the best forwards in girls basketball in the area. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Redmond against Galbraith at guard will be pretty fun to watch too. But that Steele versus Stone matchup will be huge. I'm also going with Susky. In the other matchups we have, who else we got? Central York Catholic in a rematch earlier. They played earlier at a Holly tournament. Central, like we said earlier, won by 18. They forced 23 turnovers. York Catholic shot under 30%. That Central defense just suffocated them. Bayhawk still ended up with 17 points, 19 points, something like that, but didn't get much help from the rest of the squad. Saxton ended up with around the same. That Saxton versus Bayhawk, another great one-on-one matchup we have on the girls' side. What do you guys think about this one?
I think you got to take Central again. Just the track record, how good they've been all year, and what they did the last time they played. It's hard to kind of argue against that in this league.
100% agree. Again, I said the matchups on the girls' side are much more cut and dry. York Catholic, they're great. Their program is great. They're a little bit down. I mean, they've won 10 straight district titles, right? Like they kind of are in. They're in a little bit of, I guess you say, reloading mode. I'm not going to say they rebuild. They just reload, right. But they're kind of in that process there. And I like Central to take this one. You mentioned the 18-point victory earlier in the year. It's common sense.
You mentioned teams peaking at the right times. Both these teams are riding win streaks of York Catholic's at 9. I think Central's won 13 or last 14. I mean, Central lost to York High, I believe, early January, and they lost to Redline in December. And since then, they haven't lost.
I feel like since that loss to York High, they've really kind of snapped them out of it.
Definitely.
And York Catholic hasn't lost since they lost to Central or to DeLone in early January as well. So York Catholic, and then they're coming off a big win over DeLone. So both teams riding high right now. I'm sticking with Central. I think they win.
Of course, you're sticking with Central.
Maybe in the 8 to 10 point range.
Brandon's a Central grad.
Right. No bias or anything.
Never.
Redline West York's the other one. We put up a Twitter poll, and Twitter actually picked West York to upset Redline in this one.
That's surprising.
Teddy, who you got in this one?
Well, I just want to say this. You asked about surprise team. West York's flown under the radar this year. Let's just call it what it is. They lost Langford, and they lost the other score, Emily Wood. Thank you, Brandon. So that was one of those things. You look at teams like this. You look at Dallastown lost a lot, and they were not nearly as good this year. West York lost key pieces of their team, and they were still really solid. So you know what? Mad props to people for picking them, but I got to go Red Lion. They got the coach. They got the team, and aside from that, they're coming off a bad. The Red Lion Central game was interesting the other night, and here's why I think it's interesting. Central needed the win more than Red Lion from a confidence standpoint, and maybe Red Lion needed the loss. We talk about that.
Like that fire under them.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like that. So
they've been called the best team in the area all year. They need something to get them going again.
Get a loss under your belt before these key games here. I'm going Red Lion because I think it kind of snaps them out of their swoon a little bit, and then they'll be ready to rock and roll. So yeah, I'm going Lions.
I agree with you with that. Everything you said.
Thank you, Matt.
Another cool matchup in this one. Courtney Demoff leads the league in 3-pointers made with 57. Number 2 is on the other sideline or other side here. West York. Morgan Bamberger has 44. So
I love that name.
Some 3-point specialists.
Sounds like a Bamberger.
I'm going with Red Lion. I haven't been sold on. I've only seen them in person twice this year, but I haven't been sold on them as being as good as they're advertised. I think they win this one. They'll get either DeLone or Suburban second round. And then I don't see them win the tournament is what I'm trying to say. I think they win this one, maybe the second one, but I think
it's interesting.
I don't think they come away with. I think either Central or Sussie comes away with the league title.
That is some Brandon
Zach,
Stolberg analysis.
Zach Miller and I both picked Demoff as our girls MVP too.
She's been great. She's led. She's done everything. It's hard to argue against her. She's led. She's number 1 free throw percentage, number 1 in 3-pointers made, and number 5 in points scored. So she's been there as a
college bound.
She's going to Millersville. Her and Jordan Kloster going to Millersville together. That's going to be.
I love that 1-2 tandem.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking nice. So, yeah, I'm still going with Redline in this one. I don't know if they win the whole tournament, though. I'm not completely sold yet, but we'll see. DeLone Suburban rematch of last year's quarterfinal matchup. That was a fun one to watch. That was Maddie Conley versus Claudia Mangora. Those two are both gone now. This one will be more. This one matchup is intriguing, and this is why. York Suburban is one of the biggest front lines. They're going to beat you at defensive rebounding.
Totally. They don't score. I feel like every time I look at their games, like York Suburban won 38-31.
Exactly. They want to beat you 35-30. DeLone is the opposite. They lead the league in scoring. They have 4 or 5 guards in the court at all times, and they want to run and gun. So this is a very big defensive rebounding team against a very fast-paced, high-scoring team.
It always worries you to pick those strong offensive teams against really strong defensive teams, because if it gets low scoring, the defensive-minded team, they're going to feel right in their element. The offensive team's going to feel like they're off their game.
Totally.
But I still, part of me lean toward DeLone in this one. Maybe it's the Hanover bye. I'm going to be covering this game, but it's
you know what? Go with an upset. Just go
best team in the area in the Hanover area. They really represent the area all year, so I'll go with them in an upset there. But it'll be, it's a good matchup still.
And DeLone has played up, and they played New Oxford, I believe, earlier this year.
Yeah.
They played Southwestern. I think they did. West York maybe on the schedule.
I think so, yeah.
So this isn't their first. Unlike the boys' side, where York Catholic and Hanover are coming in not having played any big teams. DeLone's had that experience. They had the experience of being in the tournament last year. They went to the tournament championship and lost to West York. But these girls have been there before. Like we said, DeLone's almost been a surprise for how well they've played without Novak and without Shipley for part of the season, and after losing Conley in the offseason. This one was a toss-up. Who'd you end up going with, Teddy?
I went Suburban. Again, I just feel like the D3 and then the D2 matchup and Suburban, I'm always going to go defense, even if they're lacking a little bit of scoring punch.
Your logic is correct. I'm just going. I needed to pick one upset, so I went.
You know what you do. I have nothing but respect for that call, but I am going Suburban here. I just feel it.
I might go DeLone in the upset too. I like that one. Suburban's another one that hasn't flashed anything, and maybe it's because of the style of their play. But nothing they've done this year said, "Wow."
I kind of agree. Like I said, every time it's like 35-29 win. But they are very well coached and very disciplined defensively.
They're very well coached. Jess Barley won our Coach of the Year last year after they went to the tournament and did pretty well. Both these teams will be in districts. Both have a great shot in districts as well, but that'll be an intriguing matchup as well. The winner gets the winner of Redline West York, so we'll see how that one goes, and then the winner of York High Susky gets the winner of Central York Catholic. So we could get a Susky Central matchup right away in round 2, which would be a lot of fun.
That'd be huge.
And then we could get a Redline or West York against DeLone or Suburbia, intriguing as well. Anything else to add, guys?
I can't wait.
Yes, I'm really excited for everything.
Yeah, these matchups are a lot of fun, guys. Like we said, Friday night, tomorrow night is the boys' action at Red Lion and West York. Saturday at Dover and Dallastown is the girls' matchups. Make sure you're there. It's going to be a lot of fun, or follow on with us. We'll see you after the break.
People's Bank is happy to announce that you can now find our name in an exciting new place. The home of the York Revolution is now People's Bank Park. People's Bank has been serving York County for more than 150 years, committed to making it a great place to live, work, and play. That commitment continues at People's Bank Park with Revs games, concerts, events, youth sports, and more. We're proud to partner with the York Revolution, and we look forward to seeing you at People's Bank Park. People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The York College Spartans play here. Catch York College basketball all season on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, your home for York's home teams.
And now a steal at the other end. Wagner picks one away, a foot race, and lays home another one. Dribbles foul line, a jump pass down to Shea, and she has 10.
The spot for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK honors the Shipley Energy Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's Shipley Energy Boys Student Athlete of the Week is Donovan Catchings from Dallastown Basketball. Catchings led the way for Dallastown, scoring 19 points en route to a 59-54 win over New Oxford on Friday. He dropped 6 points in the fourth quarter, helping the Wildcats hold on. And this week's Shipley Energy Girls Student Athlete of the Week is Kate Bauhoff of York Catholic Basketball. Bauhoff turned in a historic performance against Alone Catholic on Friday night. She dropped 40 points on 4 3-pointers and 14 free throws to help York Catholic down its rival 64-50 and clinch a tie for the Division III title.
Get your home ready for fall and winter and sign up for the Shipley Energy Protection Plan. For more information, visit shipleyenergy.com.
It's basketball playoff time in the York Adams League, and the tourney is as wide open as it's been in years. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me Friday at 5:30 as we tip off coverage with a boys doubleheader presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. In the opener, resurgent York Catholic takes on a balanced Eastern York squad. That's followed by Division I champ Central versus West York, winners of 7 of its last 10 games. It's a hoops playoff doubleheader Friday at 5:30 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Since 1964, York Area Sports Night has been an honored tradition giving local sports fans, young and old, the chance to meet their sports heroes. To shake a hand, get an autograph, snap a photo, join us on Thursday, February 11th for the 52nd Annual York Area Sports Night held at Heritage Hills Golf Resort and Conference Center. Sponsored by M&T Bank, S&H Express, Shipley Energy, Apple Automotive Group, Gladfelder Insurance, EK McConkey Insurance, RBC Wealth Management, and Sports Radio 1350. Join our great local partners and a host of others with 2016 sponsorships still available. Visit YorkSportsNight.com. Guests at this year's event include Jay Paterno, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Hall of Famer Tony Perez, Hall of Fame lineman Bob Lilly, York Revolution pitcher Stephen Penny, and Penn State Nittany Lions, including Dallastown's Ben Klein. Get your tickets today. Visit the Orioles store at the York Galleria for tickets to the autograph session. For tickets to the celebrity reception and silent auction, visit YorkSportsNight.com. York Area Sports Night, a York tradition since 1964.
The puck drops here.
Wellman, the shot, score!
Sports Radio 1350, your home for Hershey Bears hockey.
Casey Wellman has won it in overtime for Hershey.
And the Washington Capitals.
Hearing a shot, they score!
Defending the Den and rocking the red all season. Catch the Bears and the Caps on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Hi, I'm West York boys basketball coach Bill Ackerman. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Back to Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350. Nailed it again, Teddy.
You're on fire,
won a
man.
show without messing up the intro. It's always in the back of my mind, like a pitcher trying to get a perfect game, and I get there, it's like the 7th inning, and I just want to close it out.
Well, it's kind of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I think Nav used to actually like write it out. Like he always have some eyes on that sheet of paper.
Well, I said the first time I came in that was what impressed me on the show was just you getting that right every time.
He's been in lockstep for the last month. Before that, it was he found his footing.
Man, I'm so happy for
Good
myself
job,
right now.
Brandon.
Thank you. This segment, we're going to talk about some wrestling. Matt, we're going to let you run away with this one because, let's face it, your area has a lot more
Yeah, we're doing-
a lot more wrestling fans than we do up here.
Hanover's done well in wrestling this year. Now, I saw Big Lavelle last night. They lost in districts to Hamburg, so their dual meet season is done. But we still got Spring Grove left. They're fighting to make states. They have a couple consolations in the district playoffs tonight. First is against Calico, and what they got to do, it's interesting, since they are AAA, they need to win, they need to get into the top 4 in districts to make states.
Okay.
And if even though they lost in the quarterfinals, if they win both their consolations tonight, they can get into the number 4 spot and make it.
Okay.
Now, in AA, you got to get second place, and we got Bermudian there. Now, Bermudian lost last night in the semifinals, but on Saturday, they've got their 3rd place match. If they win that, they get to wrestle for a second place against whoever loses the championship match. It's kind of interesting. Like, it's not just like, oh, you lose in the finals, you get second place. Whoever loses in the finals has to wrestle the 3rd place team for second place. So if they get second place, they get into the state tournament too. So that's just a little rundown of wrestling. I didn't cover wrestling until last Saturday, but I'm getting up into my Hanover area wrestling
You're finding
knowledge.
your sea legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this time of year comes really fast for wrestling too, because you have districts flying at you, team districts, and then right after the team stuff's all done, then individual stuff jumps in there as well. So the postseason seems to last forever, especially for the Hanover teams who make it pretty far into districts as well. Southwestern not involved, right?
Yeah, they just didn't have as good a year this year. We thought they were going to make districts, and they didn't get there.
They kind of fell off. It seemed kind of late. They kind of slipped down. the standings. So Spring Grove has a chance to make state still. Berm's still right there. You said Berm Saturday, though.
Yeah, if they win both their matches, if they win the third place match and then win a second place match, they get the states.
Gotcha. Speaking of Adams County guys, New Oxford former football player Eric Harris went and played at Cal PA in the PSAC for football. Went from there to play with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL. Evening Sun kept up with him some last year. He scored his first touchdown. I think it was like an interception return he was like it was like a weird thing. Like he was like a fumble return.
He was defensive back, so probably.
Yeah, he had a weird game where he like threw a pass, ran the ball, and scored a touchdown on defense.
So CFL.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 downs, 120-yard field. Yeah. You know the deal.
He's had a pretty solid career so far up there. He had a tryout with the New Orleans Saints. They decided to add him to their preseason roster.
Which is pretty huge. I mean, it's only the 90-man roster, but for a guy who played at California U of PA, to get a shot at the NFL, you don't see that every day.
No, even just going to the CFL is a big deal. I don't care what anyone says. To get a crack at the NFL, you have to be so awesome. I've got nothing but support for this guy.
Yeah, they gave him a tryout, and one of his former teammates.
Yeah, we just said Delvin Breaux, who was his teammate with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, just started every game in the defensive backfield for the Saints last year. So I don't know if that helps or hurts his chances. Probably doesn't hurt too much. So
can't hurt,
and it doesn't hurt that he's joining the Saints defense, where they can use.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, they're going to take some chances on some guys.
I mean, the defensive backfield definitely got torched last year, but
that's the one negative. They're like, we already took a CFL Hamilton Tiger Cat. Do we take another one?
Exactly.
But they signed him to a contract, so they can't hate the guy.
Well, and I just want to say this right now. So last weekend was the Pro Bowl. And I couldn't help but notice, obviously, that John Kuhn from Dover and Brent Grimes, they were teammates at Ship. Mm-hmm. They both made the Pro Bowl. Okay, let me tell you something. That right there should serve everyone as inspiration that anything is possible. And if they did it, Harris can do it too. I don't care what anyone says. That is so awesome that those guys went from PSAC to Pro Bowl. Harris can do it too. We'll see how things shake out, but weirder things have happened.
We saw a ton of guys yesterday sign with PSAC schools, yesterday signed PSAC schools. I mean, the PSAC, I talked to, I think it was somebody from Maryland or Virginia, a college guy that was up in the area asking about some players. But I asked him, why do some of these kids not get any D1 offers? Like ODU was surprised when Andrew Lawson didn't have any other D1 offers. And they said because when the D1 teams come up here to look at York County, it's like PSAC's already done so much work on these guys that they are almost committed to the PSAC has like a fence around York County in this part of the state. So the PSAC just kind of has a monopoly on this area.
That's interesting.
That is kind of hard for other teams to break through. But the PSAC's a great football conference. And we've had some guys, like you said, out of Shippensburg make the NFL. So,
and to play D1 ball, I mean, it is so scrutinized.
Whether it's FCS or FBS, like it's still Division I football.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, to get like that D1 scholar, I mean, it could be a couple inches here, a split second there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're looking at under so many, they're lifting up every single rock. So guys are going to slip through the cracks. Yeah. And PSAC's a great league.
York High's had a few guys make the NFL too, so this isn't the first York Adams guy to make the NFL. John Kuhn, like you mentioned, has a Super Bowl ring with Green Bay.
Right.
But that also
happens
with guys like Kuhn and Harris, that shows you that you don't have to put up some crazy, flashy 3,000-yard season. Neither one of those guys had anything flashy when they were here. They were solid guys, really good players, but none of them put. Those guys didn't put up.
John Kuhn obviously found a niche as a fullback, kind of a dying position, but he does it really well. So that's why he kind of he's been able to last as long as he has.
10 years. 10 years, maybe 9. That's there. You're getting 9 to 10 years. I always say this in the office. We're always talking pro sports, and I'm always saying, like, we'll look at an NBA. We were talking Jason Terry the other day. I'm saying this guy's playing the NBA 15 years. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, no,
that's
totally
incredible.
Especially if you find your niche, like Matt said, you find out how to be the best fullback in that system, and you're good to go.
And I'll tell you right now, he's made more money than I have.
Yeah, and with Eric Harris, I think the thing with him coming out of high school and in college was he was like a tweener of a defensive back and a linebacker. He was like 230 pounds. He's dropped a little bit of weight. He's focusing on defensive back, so we'll see how that serves him. But if he finds a niche as one of those like strong safeties, he's still like 225, who's a safety, but he can hit like a linebacker. Teams love those types of guys.
Oh, and make no mistake, boy, you're going to be playing on special teams. Yeah. You got to find your niche. That you got to. I don't care if you're good at bringing out the water cooler. You got to find your niche.
He proved that in Hamilton that he can play pretty much anywhere they put him on the field. So that's good for him. And it also shows our local guys that you don't have to be at some high-end program to make the NFL either. I mean, we have John Kuhn from Dover, not a traditionally good football program in our area, and New Oxford. Dude, those are the two guys who made
It's
it.
funny. So I asked Sipe yesterday, Jim Sipe, obviously, one of our great sports reporters, been in the area. I think he's been covering sports here 10 years. Hey, Jim, do you remember Eric Harris? He's like, absolutely not. I mean, he's like, they had one good team a few years ago. They had these two twin brothers who were really good. He's like, I can't remember them. And so, again, that just plays to your point, right? I mean, hey, that stuff happens. It's so cool. I love these stories.
Right.
Yeah, and like I said, not always the flashy guys. Southwestern had a kid, Mike Felton, who wasn't by any means a huge star here with flashy numbers. He started for Temple last year, special teams, linebacker, stuff like that. So, like you said, anything's possible. These guys are doing great. That's a great role model for other kids in New Oxford and Adams County and York County to look at and be like, hey, if Eric Harris can make it and John Kuhn can make it to the NFL, we'll beat you from New York High. Those guys can make it to the NFL, then maybe we have a shot too.
Right, he's got some steps to still take, but just even getting this far, it's awesome.
And like Matt said, they had to like him. They gave him 1 day tryout and signed him right after the tryout. So there had to be something that impressed them.
Right. I mean, they obviously had a ton of film, and they've been scouting him for a while. I mean, that's the nice thing about the CFL. I mean, you're going to be playing games. You're going to be playing against good players. There's good talent up there, and you know what? You'll get a shot if you can.
And you make a great point about special teams. That's where guys like him go to prove themselves. If you're just a kamikaze out there making a lot of contact, that's how you got to play.
If you're a 6th or 7th round pick in the NFL draft, you better play special teams.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be starting. If you want to make it, you have to take the field in special teams. You need to be awesome in the film room. You need to be the man on and off the field, and you need to bust on special teams. Because again, there's only so many spots, and you gotta capitalize.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Thank you.
One last story we wanted to touch on, West York, kind of an uplifting one, kind of a sad one. One of the Tyler Folk, the football player, the quarterback, his dad passed away in his sleep last week. Ty Folk, I guess senior, 44. He's had some health issues the last couple of years. We talked to the family. Had a surgery, came home, and I guess something went south at home. Anyway, he passed away at home. And the basketball team at West York, they opened the gym. Darian McCauley scored his 1,000th point.
Yeah.
And then they all had Folk Clan shirts on to kind of support the family. It's always cool. It's never good to report on that kind of story, but it's cool to see a community rally around one of their own like that. All the basketball players wore the shirts. The whole student section wore the shirts. Ty got to sit in the student section and be a part of that, and he said, which is a great feeling. And they need positives right now, and that was a positive for him.
Right. Yeah. Especially a different sport. It's not like just the football team. The basketball team rallied around a kid. So
yeah, no, 100%. Great gesture by West York, and I can honestly say from everyone from the GameTime team, our thoughts, prayers, and well wishes are with the entire family.
Yeah, left behind Aaron, his wife, the mother, Alex, the daughter, closer to my age, and then Ty is still there, the quarterback from last year's team.
We're all part of the Folk Clan.
Yes, and Ackerman had a great quote. He said it didn't really matter whether it was a football player, basketball player, it could have been a water polo player. It's a West York person, and that's who. And that's who they want.
They're a big community over there.
Oh, yeah. Big sense of community over there. Their student section is always great. It's always a very family atmosphere over at West York. They opened a brand new gym. They look beautiful in pictures. We'll be there tomorrow night for basketball, so that should be pretty exciting, too. And Darian McCauley, we left him out earlier. He did score his 1,000th point senior there. And then committed last night for soccer.
Millersville, right?
Millersville, I believe, yeah.
He's an incredible athlete.
Yeah. Incredible athlete. Goalie, all-league goalie, pretty solid kicker on the football field, all-league power forward on the basketball court. Does a little bit of everything.
I love those kids who kick for the football team and play soccer, because that wasn't allowed at my high school. You couldn't do that in New Jersey. You couldn't do it. So
that's weak.
That's pretty cool. He joined the team pretty late in the year, but yeah, he started kicking on and did pretty well, too. That's pretty much everything we have for the show. Teddy, anything else to add here before we wrap it up?
I got nothing, Matt.
I think we covered it all.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully we answered all your questions. Good luck this weekend to everyone playing, and hope everyone has a great time watching basketball Friday and Saturday. We'll see you next week, same time. See
Bye.
Ya. First in York, first in sports. Your only local sports station. The new Sports Radio 1350, WOYK, York, Pennsylvania.